created a practical guide for spotting trouble, managing fear, trusting oneself, fostering cooperative and supportive teams, and taking simple yet effective action in any crisis. By mastering the skills in this book, you will adopt a transformative mindset that can serve you throughout your life. Whether you're trying to figure out what you genuinely want to do professionally, what kind of culture will complement your strengths, or even how to be a better parent and partner, this process can help. It will improve how you see yourself, clarify your expectations of others, and help you foster a sense of trust that's vital to making sound decisions at critical turning points in your life and career. To thrive in changing times, you will have to reinvent yourself more than once in the course of your career. In fact, job change happens more frequently today than perhaps in any previous generation. And every time you change jobs, your professional agility will be tested, along with your emotional resilience and even physical stamina. The pragmatic demands of the workplace challenge all of us to succeed in ways that reflect our authentic selves. Thankfully, the story of the Titanic contains vital lessons for anyone who feels stuck in a dead-end job or a professional role that stunts their potential and damages their self-esteem. This is because when the Titanic sank, everything that had defined these passengers sank with it, and they were left with nothing but their innate capacity to relate to themselves and others if they wanted to survive. They did survive, and this book shows you how to learn from their experiences and thrive. The Titanic Story, From Big Ship to Lifeboat. The Titanic was considered unsinkable, and so it came as something of a shock when the ship unexpectedly struck an iceberg and became fatally damaged. The crew was unprepared to abandon ship, and there weren't enough lifeboats for everyone aboard. For those Titanic passengers and crew who made it into one of the lifeboats, there were new challenges. They suddenly found themselves in tiny vessels adrift in the treacherous, freezing waters of the Atlantic Ocean. In the span of a few hours, those who were still alive went from enjoying themselves aboard the largest, most extravagant luxury liner in history to facing imminent death if they didn't overcome their terror and pull together as a group. Perhaps the most famous and well-known story concerns Lifeboat Number 6 and how these brave men and women managed to face their deepest fears, overcome a leadership challenge, trust one another when their lives were on the line, and take effective group action until help arrived. For today's readers, I believe many of the most relevant lessons from this part of the Titanic story involve how some of the individuals on this lifeboat overcame their personal fears and united as a group to beat the odds. At first, many passengers refused to accept that the Titanic was sinking, and in the lifeboat, some people became overwhelmed by their emotions and unable to do anything. Some couldn't adapt to the situation and the upending of expected roles and norms. They remained stuck in what I call the big ship mindset. What makes this story so valuable for our careers today is that on that fateful night, the survivors in that tiny vessel needed to make a fundamental mental shift if the group was going to survive. In essence, the lifeboat process guides us through this shift and helps us adopt what I refer to as the lifeboat mindset. This involves letting go of unquestioned assumptions, acknowledging danger, facing our fears, putting aside our assigned or expected roles, trusting ourselves and others, and working as a group to help save everyone. The Titanic is a powerful metaphor for people today struggling to put the unexpected changes they face in their lives and careers into perspective. In this book, I have organized lessons we can all glean from these Titanic survivors into a process for helping clients adopt the lifeboat mindset to explore and solve workplace dilemmas of all kinds. For instance, in many cases, when unexpected problems threaten a company or a department, the people involved report experiencing a breakdown of norms and trust. In some organizations, there's so little trust that people feel terribly isolated, disconnected from colleagues and friends, and distant from their authentic selves. Unable to make sense of this isolation, some people make adjustments to keep themselves sane. Often these adjustments involve striving to act like everything is just fine on the outside. However, a complex range of emotions often simmers on the inside, and if people avoid exploring and managing these emotions, the more likely they are